Spectacular Magazine. We on the scene.
Hey, Yoda.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, Yoda, Phyllis. How are you?
How are you? And so, thank you. Welcome. You are on the phone with Phyllis. I have Jimmy Spice Curry, and I have DJ Lloyd Yoda X. How are you doing today?
We're great. I'm great.
Okay.
And
Everything is good.
Good.
Yeah, Lord Yoda X, how you doing? You good?
Everything is great. Thank you.
You guys have been involved. So, Jimmy, let me start with you. Tell us a little bit briefly. I know you have done so much, but just give us some highlights of your career.
I started way back with my own record company, put out some tracks. Daryl C. from the Crash Crew called up Sylvia Robinson. I ended up with a deal with Bon Ami MCA Records. And the Bon Ami side was basically Sugar Hill under a spin-off name.
Okay.
I produced and directed Lenny Kravitz, worked with Hoshul Small from Bahaman, grandmasters of martial arts, boxing champs, Olympic gold medalists, of course DJ Lord Yoda X, members of the Crash Crew, some of them, not all, Tico Wells, the choir boy from the Five Heartbeats, Iran Barkley, former world champion, also known as the Blade, and a few other folks.
So your work has not just been in the music industry.
No, I have been involved in athletics also, from both an athlete capacity as well as a management capacity. I've managed some athletes also. By the way, I haven't managed the Blade and others. They were in some of my other film projects. And then later on, Yoda and I, we've known each other for several decades. We may sound like spring chickens. And, he kidnapped me and said, yo, dog, we're going to do a movie. And I couldn't escape, so I was like, okay, man, let's do it.
Okay, so listen, I want to get to the movie, but Lord Yoda, tell me a little bit about your background. Give us some of the highlights.
Okay, I come from a group called the Crash Crew. We came out of Harlem, New York, back in the late 70s. Mm-hmm. Signed to Sugar Hill Records. We put out our first record independently with Mixmaster Mike and Disco Dave on a label called Mike and Dave Records. After that, I worked with the Boogie Boys. You might know them from Fly Girls, and their first record was also on Mike and Dave. Then after that, I worked with somebody you might know, a gentleman named Rob Bass, and my main man DJ Easy Rock. Rest in peace, Easy Rock.
Yes.
Toured the world with Rob and Easy Rock and myself DJing. We toured the world, went overseas, performed for the troops over in Iraq and Kuwait and all that type of good stuff. And we was like the first ones to bring the hip hop to the troops.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're doing. So tell me what you're doing now. You're on the radio, right? Every week.
Yes, ma'am. I have a show called Freedom Radio. Friday nights, 7 to 10 on Fridays, and then Sunday nights, 7 to 9, and it's on Fanye Radio, FanyeRadio.com.
Is that something we can get with the TuneIn app?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, great. So now you brought us around to Freedom. So Freedom Pictures is in the process of doing a movie called The True Harlem Hip Hop Story. So first of all, tell us, how did that come about?
Yoda.
Well, about 5 years ago, I started putting this together. I found a void for Harlem hip hop. Everything was, talking about the Bronx, and no disrespect to the Bronx, because I'm from there as well. Mm-hmm. But there was other people that contributed in a big way. And, these guys, Mike and Dave, had like a 9-year run of doing hip hop, from promoting to doing the first independent record label to, putting out, Rob Bass, Dougie Fresh, Bismarck, Positive K, Crash Crew, Boogie Boys, and as well as promoting AJ and Busy B and Cold Crush Brothers, Furious 5, Treacherous 3. It's been a who's who of hip
Right.
And tooled around with it for a minute, and then I met back up with Spice after a little hiatus, of not seeing each other. And I seen Spice. I'm like, yo, Spice, I got this project. We got to do this. And and I tried to sell him on it. He's like, okay. I came with the pitch,
Yeah.
The stage on my knees and was like, yeah. And he's like, okay.
Wow.
At first, he wasn't really feeling it, or whatever. And then, the more I talked to him, the more it grew on him, and he saw the vision, and so we collabed, and we co-wrote it. We went in, we shot, and we started shooting, and we started gathering all the artists, and it's been a real labor of love for the last 2 years getting this project finished, and here we are. But
so when you say
Spice
here we
was
are,
the piece that was missing.
Right. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, that was Yoda.
That was no. I said, but he was saying that Jimmy that was a part that was missing. So if you could tell us that part.
Oh, the handsome, adorable side was missing. So. I do production in terms of video and music, and of course Yoda does music also. And so since I had my own firm and I was doing some ventures, productions, because of course folks can call either of us if they want to do their own music or song, and then we check it out. But I got into it because once I realized the depth. See, I was ignorant. Often in life we misinterpret black heroes and don't really comprehend what they are. Many of us go through it. Mm-hmm. And so I was doing the same thing that people have done to me and not seeing. And I'm so thankful that Yoda was persistent. And he was like, look, dude, you don't understand. And once I got it, I was on board 1,000%. Now I'm more sometimes calling him up like, yo, man, it's time to do something. Yes. I got the bug.
So was it difficult, or tell me the process of getting all these artists together to do the movie?
I can start, Yoda? Oh, I heard you breathe in. Okay, thank you. Well, getting artists can be a challenge because let's remember that many artists, especially in the hip-hop subgenre of music, have not necessarily received the financial fiat currency that they deserve. And so when they are approached by independent persons such as us, who aren't working with the big Benjamins necessarily, it's a tough call for them. Fortunately, enough of them understood. They saw the trailer in some cases, and they realized that we were, going to really do it and be professional. It meaning the movie, and many of them have come on board. Yoda can break down some. I called my friend Chico Wells, 5 Heartbeats, Universal Soldier, and he said, yo, Spice, what's up? I said, yeah, man, this is a hot one. He said, okay, if you want to do it, let's do it. And then I got in touch again with Jesse D, and Jesse is hard to track down. If you're in the arts, catching Jesse is like catching a shooting star. But Jesse has graced us with his both his voice and his acting in it. And then Yoda brought in basically everybody else. A few of them I knew, the Crash crew, but Yoda brought in his people. And more people have been coming on board last minute. Some of them may have to be for another movie down the road. But Yoda, before I take up all the time talking, because Spice sometimes talks a bit too much, why don't you hit him off? Because I know you're sitting there hogging up all my time.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to Tico Wells and Jesse D from the Force MCs, we also had DJ Tony Tone and Easy AD from the Cold Crush Brothers. We've had, of course, my partner in crime, Rob Bass, who's also executive producing this movie with us. Also, Africa Bambaataa. The list is long. We had Chill Will and Barry B from the Get Fresh crew. And they're trying to catch Doug, but Doug is always globe-trotting, But
yes.
He wants to do it, and he's supporting the movie. It's just been so much scheduling conflict with Doug, but he's definitely supportive, and he, like I said, Doug's come through the camp, so he's very much in support of what we're doing. Biz Markie, of course, same scenario, but we, also in the film we've had Pooh, Gangsta G, and Keith Casey from a group called the Mastodon Committee, and they had a record called Funk Box, which Master P sampled. You know, the na 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 na.
Okay.
So they come through. Yeah, they come through. You know, through our camp, and they're from Harlem as well. So you know, my man Al B from the Disco 4. He's the original voice of the Ruckers, you know, Tango and Cash, Al Cash.
Yes.
And then the Rucker basketball tournament is also connected with Mike and Dave and the Crash Crew, and you know, part of our history, because the first game actually started with the Disco 4 versus the Crash Crew, and we played it, you know, at Mount Morris Park before it moved to the Rucker Park.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it's a lot of history between, you know, everybody that's in this movie. So a lot of people lent their, you know, memories and their talent to bring this to fruition for us.
What?
Including Peso and Mike C from the Fearless Four. Gizmo is also making an appearance, representing early Boogie Down Productions, and many, many more. They'll call us out and tell us off when we don't mention their name.
I can understand. I know how that goes. So tell me now, does the movie follow the lives? Is this like a historical sketch, or is this just a story that involves all of these rappers?
Well, it's actually telling the story of the Mixmaster Mike and Disco Dave from like 1977 to like 1986, and their involvement in hip hop and what they brought to the hip hop history. You know, as far as the shows and the parties, the talent shows, and you know, record label and things of this nature. You know, we have flyers from the period. We've even did a few reenactments from the period, so you know, people can see what was going along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going along back then. So it's quite interesting.
Okay, and so where are you now with the production of the movie?
Yeah, we're at the final leg of post-production, and we have a date set for November 6th. We're basically good for the date in terms of product, but we're touching it up, improving a few things, and since Chill Will Barry B and one or two other people got involved, we're dropping them in a few sections, and of course mixing in the music and some audio special effects and some lower thirds, and really trying to do something that will step up the game for the urban independent film scene, because very often I find, and so does Yoda, the quality is not up to par what we put out in our community. Mm-hmm. And so we're hoping we're one of the groups that really helps people to step it up. Now, and of course, we're in marketing and publicity branding phase.
Right. So now what will happen on November 6th? Is that going to be a premiere date?
Go on, bro. Because I was on it. Come on.
I see. It's going to be the official screening, you know, and we'll have a lot of the cast there, Q&A with the director and the writer and the producers, mm-hmm. and some of the cast members. This will be November 6th in Harlem at a place called the Meso Cinema, and that's at 334 Lenox Avenue, which is now called Malcolm X Boulevard, and that's in Harlem between 127 and 128th Street, 6 p.m.
Okay.
And so that we don't conflict with some film festivals, because some of them will not allow a film in if it has had a premiere. The way we're phrasing it, and also the footage that we're showing, is not the full feature movie, but it will be very entertaining, but give us the liberty to, of course, get into film festivals and negotiate other deals.
Have you already, do you already have one festival secured at this point?
No, we haven't secured any yet, because typically the process for festivals is that you submit your film, mm-hmm. and then they review and decide if, and of course you pay the fee, right, yes. and they decide if they want it. And so our focus right now was not getting it into festivals immediately, but it is in our projections. Therefore, the things that we do now in the present, we know that one of the next steps we have is the film festival circuit, so we're trying to comply with, you know, rules and regulations of that wonderful area of entertainment.
Will there be a soundtrack released from this movie?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, definitely. Yeah.
I kind of knew the answer to that one, but I thought I'd ask it anyway. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Brother Spice will be producing that, and he does, like you said, he does musical production as well as the film. So Brother Spice is going to be producing it, the soundtrack, and we have a few voices on so far. Like he mentioned, Jesse D from the Force MCs, and I got my other Cal Rifkin who sings with Rob Bass. He's getting ready to come aboard, and a few other entertainers. It's going to be really nice. I'm trying to get Rob to drop a verse, but he's busy doing the Vegas residency out there at the Paris Hotel, so it's hard to get my man right now. But he wants to do it.
Are you guys, in addition to your collaboration, I want to ask each of you, what are you working on? Do you have individual projects that you're working on now as well? Jimmy, if you go first. Okay.
Okay, I'll go first. We both are also working on a few separate ventures. Yoda is always out there making a ton of money DJing. Hint. I'm waiting for a little ooh, no. Yeah, so it's like two prize fighters that do fights together through Freedom 7. Once in a while, I do music stuff or film stuff, and we still work with each other on it. If I get a project and it's good for Yoda and we kick it, he might get involved. And even if he isn't, man, if I get some ends cash cheese on it, I'm like, hey, Yoda, man, I hit you off with something. And vice versa for Yoda. Hint, hint. He got a big check recently. Okay. Man.
You guys, but this seems like this has been a labor of love to put this movie together.
Yes, it has.
When you sit down and look at okay, this is what I need to ask you. What period of time does this movie cover? From what year to what year?
From 1977 to 1986.
Okay.
And
wow,
Phyllis,
almost 10 years.
Yeah, that's the core of the Mike and Dave experience with their record company. Some of the artists on board do cover a bit after that because they discuss, their career and how it developed, and Rob discusses, It Takes Two and what came after that. But the core of the movie is about that time period. And Mike and Dave, in terms of their developments now, are very, in terms of legendary and mysterious. They are not involved in entertainment at this present time, possibly never will be. And so they're kind of, low-key at this juncture. But Yoda still felt, and I eventually comprehended, that even if people are, not in the industry anymore officially, they still should get the recognition they deserve. And we got a lot of their friends together and artists, and we made it happen. This happens often in the black community. There are a lot of heroes in all our lives that the world doesn't know, and so it's great to let people show some respect.
Yes. And then do you show some people that were very important to the hip-hop world or that Harlem hip-hop story, but may not have been hip-hop artists, like Dapper Dan?
I would have liked to have got an interview with Mr. Dapper Dan, but we actually didn't do that. But there's a couple of other people who aren't necessarily artists that's in it, and some of them are known just in the Harlem community, but but I thought it was really important for like a lot of the artists who made it and who were big then to talk about Mike and Dave and their experiences in Harlem, because it was like a family atmosphere when you went to a party like that. Because one of the people that did an interview said you would see the same guys that you were chilling with on the corner in the parties.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It was cool.
Okay, well, listen. So after, we're in North Carolina. So when can we expect to see it? Do you know at this point? Do you have? Is that part of your plan?
Well, one thing that is occurring is we're going to be negotiating with. There's a major streaming movie network, right? Okay. That's one way. In your part of America, there is the possibility of some playing there also, because of course streaming could be anywhere.
Yes.
So in other words, we could also work out an airing date down there. We just wanted to knock out New York first.
Of
So
course.
at present we don't have the time,
course.
but we both have some colleagues in the area, and yeah, we're gonna work it out. We'll work it out.
We're also in.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say we're also in negotiations with the Bay Area in California to do a couple of screenings in San Jose and also Oakland and possibly LA while we're out there. So, we'll be doing some screenings and probably bring a few cast members with us. So these are some of the things we're working on. So we're going to definitely be making the rounds.
And you're going to take it to the Dirty South?
I'm looking forward to coming down there. I got people in Charlotte, so Charlotte's like a second home.
Yes, but what about in that ATL? And showing that there, because they really came after Harlem.
Yeah, it's the new Black Hollywood, so you got to go to the A.
Yes, definitely so. Listen, thank you so much for being. But before we go, tell us both of your names, tell us the name of the movie, and tell us where the screening, because we may be in New York on that week. That's not far away. We might just very well be in New York. So tell us your name again, the name of the movie, and the date and the location that you're going to air it.
Well, once again, this is DJ Lloyd Yoda X, and appreciate this time and thank you. The name of the movie is The True Harlem Hip Hop Story, Mike and Dave, and we'll be screening it November 6th, and that's at the Maisel Cinema, Harlem, New York, 343 Lenox Avenue, and that's between 127th and 128th. And you can catch me at freedom7.com.
Okay.
Or anywhere on Instagram or whatever at DJ Lloyd Yoda X.
Okay. And Jimmy?
Yeah. Yes, Jimmy Spice Curry. Back in the day, I was Commander Spice or Master JC with a very high voice back in '83. I am on Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn as Jimmy Spice Curry. But of course, under Yoda, my partner, and I, under our free FREE Dome, DOM like Mary, E like Edwards, the number 7.com. And they could also check out the website there. And I hope that folks enjoy the movie, and even if they don't see it, just realize that find the right people to work with you and pursue your dreams, whether that's in entertainment or robotics or martial arts, or you're just a person trying to get a regular job and you're having a tough time. Live your dream, my people. Free at last.
Yes. And a free form.
That's what I'm talking about. Big up, Selector.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I just can't wait to see the movie. I'm excited. I came up through that era, and I just really appreciate this. Thank you so much. So I have been, as they've just told you, I've been visiting with Jimmy Spice Curry and DJ Lloyd Yoda X. And this is On the Phone with Phyllis. I'm Phyllis Coley for Spectacular Magazine. Until next time, see ya.
See ya.